Welcome to Political Lunch. I'm Rob Millis. My co-host Will Coughlin has been kidnapped by a friend of ours and taken south. Today we'll find out what happens when you put a New England preppy in camouflage and send him to a Texas ranch for the 4th of July.
It's Friday, July 6, 2007. There are just 488 days left until the '08 election.
It's noon here at Clear Rock Ranch in Henley, Texas. It's 1 p.m. on the East Coast.
I'm Will.
I'm Chet.
And believe it or not, this is Political Lunch. Welcome back to Political Lunch. You may or may not remember my friend Chet Clem, editorial manager of The Onion,
America's finest news source.
Back in May, he sat in with Rob on The Lunch.
Welcome back to Political Lunch. Standing in today for Will is Chet Clem, editorial manager from The Onion.
Well, Chet was nice enough to invite us down to his ranch in Texas for the 4th of July. Thanks, Chet.
Welcome to Texas.
And today, Rob's on special assignment on the West Coast, so we're just going to look at a couple of the day's top news stories in politics, and then we're going to head out onto the ranch to see what we can find. Chet, what are we going to start with?
Well, there hasn't been much time for politics this week, as half the state here is underwater.
Authorities at the Texas Emergency Operations Center say 44 days of rain have created the worst flooding statewide in 50 years.
And the 4th of July was pretty much rained out, so there weren't any local candidates in town making the rounds.
So no great local color.
Well, other than this 4th of July favorite.
The fireworks public safety announcement.
Yeah, fireworks are dangerous. You've seen the power just on the demonstration with the watermelon.
Okay, so maybe we ought to report on some political news that you probably already know, unless you've been holed up on, say, a ranch in West Texas for the last few days. And that news is that Barack Obama has set a new record for second quarter fundraising for a presidential candidate. His haul was $32.5 million, more than $5 million more than the second place Democrat, Hillary Clinton. And many pundits are now guessing that his ability to raise massive amounts of money may counteract his current dip in the polls.
As for the Republicans, Rudy took home most of the loot this time with $17 million.
That's just barely half what Obama brought in.
Mitt Romney brought in $14 million.
And in total, with just 6 months to go before the first primary, the Democrats have outraised Republican candidates almost 2-1. And the candidate who just can't seem to catch a break, John McCain, brought in just $11 million, once again missing the mark, and he has reportedly laid off dozens of staffers as a result.
One minor positive note for the senator from Arizona, he did come out on top in a study of each candidate's online presence.
Loyal Lunch viewers may have expected Ron Paul to come out on top in the online race, but you can check out that study online for yourself. Now, there really wasn't much other important political news to report this week. Duncan Hunter was the only candidate to wish me a happy Independence Day via email.
That's nice. And speaking of emails, it looks like Senator Clinton needs to hire someone to proofread hers. Well, there was a story of local interest here in Henley, Texas. We're about 10 miles up the road from Johnson City, Texas.
Now that would be Johnson City, the boyhood home of former President Lyndon Baines Johnson.
That it would. And Ladybird Johnson is back at home today.
Now that's the oldest living First Lady, back at home fully recovered from a fever that sent her to the hospital last week, so good news for Johnson City, Texas.
Indeed.
Chet, thanks for having us on the ranch.
Thanks for having me back on the show.
That's it for Political Lunch today. I'll be back in the studio with Rob in New York on Monday. But first, Chet, let's head out on the ranch and see what we can find.
Absolutely.